our generation, the generation after us, I wouldn't say the generation before us, that I think they still have a lot of pride in their country.
Yeah, absolutely.
But definitely, if we're talking 18 to 30, I think 70-30, maybe 60-40. They ain't going nowhere if you try to draft them.
No, absolutely not. They'd go to fucking Canada.
Yeah.
We'd get the draft Dodgers again.
Yes.
It's just there's a essay that I read that's like, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So a lot of it is just kind of in the case where...
I gotta write that down. I'm sorry. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
A lot, and I can't take credit for that. I literally saw that on my way here reading it. But anyway, the whole point that I'm trying to make is, we've lost a sense of identity. I'm not talking about just as a country. I'm talking about like males specifically have lost a sense of identity. I can name you like conversations where guys are doing nothing but playing video games all day, every day. All day, every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talk about guys who are literally addicted to porn, addicted to drugs, addicted to drinking, binge eating, which we'll get into later. Like you just got... I feel I'm not saying the way to remedy this is for like nations to go off and fight or for us to go off and kill other people. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that's what it was back then. That was the history of yesterday.
So that's what I was going to ask. Do we, and obviously God forbid this ever happens, but we're coming off of the 20-year anniversary. Does this country need an enemy to band together and have some type of unity again? Because America was never more closer together than after 9/11, 2001.
Yeah.
It was who cares what color you are, who cares what your religious beliefs are, what your political beliefs are. We just got attacked. We are together.
Yeah.
Now that went away over time, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you think it takes some sort of tragedy? Does it always have to take a tragedy to bring us together?
I mean, yeah.
That's crazy.
I could spin this 100 ways, saying no, we'll come together because we love each other and all this. I think that's other BS. I think unless when you think about it, it's primal. It's human nature to protect the thing that means the most value to you, and like if the government said, all right, folks, no more Netflix. We're cutting the plug. There would be people storming the Capitol again.
There really would be.
There would be people storming the Capitol like, no, you're not taking my Netflix. More people would go to war for Netflix and shit like that than they would for just if the country was attacked. But I do think, to answer your question, I do think that a lot of it, unfortunately, like we only come together in tragedy.
What do you think is more likely to happen first? World War III or a civil war in America? Is it that much of a toss-up?
No, I mean, there isn't the way things have been going the last 10 years.
Yeah.
If anyone's been paying attention, I think a lot of it. So this is gonna sound really bad, really, really bad. And I think this is the place to do it. And I'm a nobody, so like nobody gives a shit what I say at the end of the day. But like, I feel when you have so many groups, and I'm not talking just racial groups. I'm talking about groups. I'm talking about people of varying ages. Like we got the oldest generation that is retiring now. We've got people who are college educated. We've got people who think college is a scam. We've got people who are going off, preferring to go for a trade versus a corporate job. You got people who are mounted in debt and think the government needs to do something about it. There's so many different. We're so polarized. It's not like left versus right. I think it's like more complicated and more nuanced than that. I think a lot of it is different groups, different identities.
Yep.
And when that group, again, going back to human nature, when that group is threatened, when you put pressure on it and you say like, oh, well, you guys can't be here, or you can't use this, or you can't do that, there's a sense of tribalism that responds. So I'm not trying to predict the future, right? I'm not I'm not clairvoyant by any means, but I think a lot of the cases, like, yeah, I think World War III, the only way World War III would happen is if you had a country that was absolutely unified culturally, which is a controversial thing to say because America isn't that. But that's the beauty of America, right? It's the melting pot. But I think that's also kind of our double-edged sword.
True.
Like we've got a blend of so much that it's kind of hard to stick. What is the national identity? It only comes when we are attacked. But I feel like if we had, like, America's so different than it was 20 years ago than it is now.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
so different. So I can't even say I can't even, you know, make some sort of point where it's like, if we get attacked, is it gonna be the same as 9/12, where everyone's like kumbaya and everyone's like, hey, you know, I'm gonna support my fellow man, I'm gonna support my neighbor? I don't know.
All right, so this is the last thing I want to say.